My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams for members at the Arch-Villain level where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and Subscribe-Star pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. The Acolyte Season 2 has been cancelled, my friends. The further adventures of May and Osha will not happen, as The Acolyte was the biggest failure of direct-to-Disney Plus Star Wars, exactly as I predicted it would be. There was some talk that Andor was going to wind up being the worst-performing Star Wars streaming show on the platform, but you know the big difference between Andor and Acolyte? Andor is getting a Season 2, and what's more, for the most part, I actually liked Andor. And even when I didn't like Andor, I respected it. It was kind of a Guns of Navarone /heist/spy story with a slow burn that doesn't appeal to many in modern audiences, but that I like just fine. I'm accustomed to watching old movies like The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, which is a spy movie but also a drama, where the central characters are what's really interesting, more so than the action or the overall plot. My only problem with Andor was what my problem with Disney Star Wars is as a whole. Where the hell is the fun? Andor got very, very dark in places, but it was always a very realistic darkness. And as such, it felt out of line with the Star Wars of Kenner and Hasbro fame, you know. The Star Wars we always loved, but Disney seems incapable of delivering. But pound for pound, I'd say Andor is one of the best shows on Disney Plus overall. It just isn't really Star Wars in my book. Nevertheless, it is getting a Season 2, unlike The Acolyte, with its thread-weaving lesbian space witches that turn into smoke clouds, the power of many, and CPS Jedi going around snatching kids from unsafe homes. But the thing about that is, it's one of the last Disney Star Wars streaming shows in the pipeline. Literally, almost every single Disney Star Wars show remaining on Disney Plus is ending, leaving, limited, or getting canceled, which begs the question that Forbes recently posed in an eye-opening article: is Star Wars finished on Disney Plus? Yesterday, Forbes published an article titled, "With The Acolyte Canceled, Almost Every Star Wars Series is Ending," and they make an excellent case that indeed, Star Wars is poised to all but vanish from live-action streaming development. In this article, they write, quote, "Right now, everyone is processing or celebrating Disney canceling The Acolyte, the ambitious but expensive and barely watched series that created a culture war firestorm not seen since The Last Jedi. In other words, it sucked just like The Last Jedi. But behind the scenes, there is now a story that stretches beyond that, one that feels like Disney is almost pulling out of live-action, high-budget Star Wars shows on Disney Plus altogether. Daniel Richtman put this together, and he's right. We are now at a point where, yes, future Star Wars movies are finally being developed again, but Disney Plus shows? They feel like they're skidding to a stop, with only one confirmed series moving forward now out of more than half a dozen we've seen."
Hey, all I can say is hallelujah, dude. The only watchable Star Wars on Disney Plus has been Andor and Mando Seasons 1 and 2. Mando Season 3 was nae Scottish, and as Mike Myers fans all know, if it's nae Scottish, it's crap. Oh, the pain that has been inflicted time and time again on Star Wars fans, the constant damage to the franchise. This is welcome news, dude, but is Forbes right? Is it true?
I think it is, Harvey Cthulhu. As I said, they make an excellent case. Let's look at the tail of the tape. Quote, "The Acolyte has been canceled. The upcoming Skeleton Crew is a limited series. Andor was always meant to be a 2-season show and will end after the upcoming Season 2. Obi-Wan Kenobi may have Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen itching to make it more than a limited series, as they've said, but there's been no movement on that at all. Thank God. That is my quote. The Book of Boba Fett was received terribly and will not get a season 2 again. Thank the maker. That oil bath feels so good. The planned Donald Glover Lando series is now a movie.
What the actual schmuck? Lando is going to be a movie?
That is correct. They canceled the show. Now they're launching it as a movie.
With Billy D. Williams, I trust?
No, with that Donald Glover guy from Solo.
You mean the pansexual robot humper?
The same.
Disney is insane. Literally insane. I can't believe they think there's a market for a Solo spin-off. Hashtag Solo lost money.
And hashtag so will Lando. Listen, Sculla Calderon, don't blame me, dude. I'm only delivering the news here. I agree with you entirely. Solo was the biggest theatrical Star Wars bomb of all, and they're going to make a sequel? A spin-off? With a toaster humper? Unbelievable. You can't make this shit up. But the article lists more shows that are canceled or ending. Quote, the planned Mandalorian spin-off Rangers of the New Republic was canceled, likely in part because of the Gina Carano debacle. Then there's The Mandalorian, where it's unclear if Season 4 will actually come into existence after the Mandalorian and Grogu film is released. We just don't have enough details to know whether that could end up as a finale for their story, or if Season 4 is for sure going to happen. That leaves Ahsoka. Oh, God. That is the only show we know for sure is getting a second season, and no other live-action Star Wars shows have even been announced. Unquote.
And Ahsoka was one of the worst of them. I know, a lot of people out there are blinded through no fault of their own by their love of the Clone Wars from their childhood, but holy shit on a stickeroo, Batman. Ahsoka was one of the most boring things I've ever seen, outside of watching an old lady eat oatmeal. I've seen more interesting documentaries about accounting practices. In its own way, it was as bad as the Acolyte. You're welcome, Leslie.
I agree, Harvey Cthulhu. Oh, I hated Solo as much or even more than The Last Jedi because I hate being bored more than I hate being angry. And at least The Last Jedi made me angry. Solo and Ahsoka are enough to put a speed junkie into a coma. Watching both of those things had me squirming in my seat, looking at my watch, begging for the sweet, sweet release of the end credits. Oh my God. The article concludes, quote, Disney seems lost in the woods with Star Wars, and maybe they realize it's time for a break. Yes, it would have been good if they could expand beyond the Skywalker era in meaningful ways, but with the Acolyte dead, that seems unlikely, unless Mangold's film is a massive hit. Or they straight up start adapting Knights of the Old Republic or something like that. But for now, it's about to be a wasteland unless new things are announced soon. Maybe that's for the best, unquote.
There's no maybe about it, Doomcock. Star Wars needs a nice long rest, a complete change of creatives, and an infusion of fun. Personally, I'd turn it over to Jon Favreau and bring James Gunn on. Because the Guardians of the Galaxy was more Star Wars than Star Wars under Disney. Under the current clueless regime, Star Wars is as joyless as tax season at H&R Block.
I could not agree more. The one thing Star Wars is lacking above all else is fun and joy, for it is those two factors that most defined that long-lost galaxy, far, far away. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha